It's also live on Kazmi 107.1 FM and across the world at AsriNews.com. On Facebook, we're streaming live on Asri FM 927. Coming up in the next 1.5 hours. Armed policemen storm Winneba High Court to arrest independent candidate seeking to injunct December 7 parliamentary elections for the Ofutu constituency. We'll tell you more about this. Also, Awutu-Senya East and Western DC parliamentary candidates protest Electoral Commission's decision to change collation centers for this year's election, accusing the EC of taking unilateral decisions. Also coming up on the program, we are live at the police headquarters where the police administration is currently briefing the media on security measures for the upcoming polls. And much later, National Labour Commission declares table strike as illegal and refuses to grant members a hearing until they call off their action. All of these stories and business and sport coming up in the next 1.5 hours. Stay with us, but for now, Sarfoa Boahene is here with a summary of the news. Sarfoa, what do you have?
Thank you, Beatrice, and welcome to the news summary segment. Let's set off the details now. And a group of women in Boko municipality have expressed dissatisfaction and anxiety over lack of insecurity on the Boko-Bolgatanga highway. The fear of being attacked is preventing them from traveling out of Boko for economic and social activities. The women said commercial car owners are afraid to do business again in the township due to the situation which has left them in a vulnerable state. Away from that, the Ghana Federation of Disability Organizations, GFD, met with the Electoral Commission, EC, to advocate for greater electoral inclusion for persons with disabilities ahead of the December 7 general elections. The meeting aimed to assess the EC's current provisions for persons with disabilities and to present key recommendations that would ensure a more accessible and inclusive electoral process. Also, there is a renewed commitment from the NDC flag bearer in his fight against corruption, as John Mahama says he will have the Chief Justice establish a court to go after persons found culpable in the Auditor General's report. He has been speaking in the New Jabin North constituency. Also, away from that, Herbert Krapa will still lead Ghana's energy ministry in the last days of the Akufo-Addo government as threats of a return to load shedding hangs over the sector. The sector, however, is debt-ridden and continues to face significant challenges despite continuous government assurances. President Akufo-Addo, who during the commissioning of a plan promised to end recent challenges within the sector. Well, the assurances of the president, according to independent power producers, is far from the truth, with 3 plants expected to be shut down over a near 300 million debt. And to our last story, the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has seized a 40-foot container at Tema Port, originally shipped from the United States. The container was falsely declared to contain vehicles and personal items, but contained 53 pistols, 74 magazines, and 65 live rounds of ammunition concealed in suitcases. Intercepted on November 4, 2024, the seizure followed investigations by the GRA's intelligence and preventive units. The Customs Division has reaffirmed its commitment to protecting Ghana's borders from illegal arms and contraband. And this brings us to the end of our news summary segment. And over to you, Beatrice.
Thank you very much, Sarfoa Boahene, for bringing us the summary of the news. 17 days to the December 7 general election. This is your election command center, and armed policemen stormed the Winneba High Court to arrest an independent candidate who was seeking to injunct the December 7 parliamentary election for the Ofutu constituency. The candidate is in court over the leaking of her nomination document filed with the Electoral Commission. The independent candidate, Louisa Boabing, was praying the Winneba High Court to place an injunction on the upcoming upcoming parliamentary elections, citing irregularities on the part of the Electoral Commission. The plaintiff's counsel, Jennifer Morris Ejay, says the document of the independent candidate was allegedly leaked to the MPP's parliamentary candidate, who is currently the majority leader in Parliament, and also the incumbent of the area, Alexander Apenyomarking, a few days ago after filing same document with the Electoral Commission. Let's get some more on this developing story. And our Central Regional Correspondent, Beatrice Adu, joins us on the line with some more. Beatrice, can you tell us more about why Apenyomarking was also in court, if it is not the case of getting the court to injunct the parliamentary elections?
Okay, so apart from the independent candidate, Louise Aboahene, seeking for the court injunction, which was denied today, she is also praying the court to inquire into why the Electoral Commission leaked the nomination documents she filed with the Commission to Alexander Apenyomarking, because she alleges that a few days after filing her nomination form, she heard the incumbent MP make some declarations on a local radio station in Winneba about the forms she applied. And then mentioned is that some of the persons she had their signature on the nomination form were actually fraudulently procured, and that those persons did not sign the documents in person, but rather the independent candidates forged their signatures. And according to the candidate, is that proclamation by the incumbent MP has destabilized her campaign and then caused mistrust among some of her supporters. And so she believes that she would need some time to go back to speak to these supporters, just so they can she can reorganize them and then have their hope in her work on ahead of the elections. And so she needed some 3 days after the election to be able to do that. And so the Honorable Alexander Apenyomarking was in court as a party to the actual case, but not the injunction matter.
Did he say anything at all?
No, the MP did not say anything, apart from the fact that he told the court that he was ready to join as a party to the case, because he had all relevant information and documents to support the claims that indeed the independent candidate forged some documents of hers. But there was a split turn of events when some police officers stormed the Winneba High Court premises to try to arrest the independent candidate right after the court proceedings. And this happened when the court was proceeding to hear other matters. And so it caught the attention of the presiding judge, who called all the parties involved back to the court. And then after listening to the counsel of the independent candidate, who made it known to the open court so that the police had arrived at the court to effect an arrest on her on her client, the presiding judge ordered the police to forgo the arrest. And she described it that when they proceed with the arrest, it creates some sort of a bad image for law enforcement. And so she recommended that the police leave the court premises and then wait for the counsel to bring the independent candidate to the Winneba Divisional Police Command. But that did not happen because the police crossed the vehicle of the candidate with and then led her straight to the police command. I left the police command about an hour ago, and after the time I was leaving, the candidate was still in police custody. When I spoke to the council, he told me it becomes difficult for them to have the divisional commander.
We'll speak to the lawyer for the client very shortly, but are you able to kindly repeat the reason behind the arrest of this independent candidate? Because she was in court to injunct the parliamentary election.
So the reason behind her arrest, what I have gathered, is that an individual has sent a petition to the Winneba Divisional Police Command to investigate into whether it is actually true or false, whether the candidate did actually fraudulently procure the signatures of the persons who nominated her candidature.
All right, thank you very much, Kwesi Adu. He is our correspondent in the Central Region. Stand by, we may come to you for the latest, but we're also joined by Jennifer Morris. Jay, he is a lawyer representing this independent candidate for the Efutu constituency. Good evening to you, sir, if you can hear us. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, good evening.
Are you able to tell us why your client is accusing the Efutu Member of Parliament of having been the recipient of the leaked document and other candidates in that race, in that constituency?
Yes. To start with, my client actually filed a nomination form at the Electoral Commission, and that she has done everything that she's supposed to do. Everything has gone through, and that she's even on the ballot as we speak, because the Electoral Commission admitted that in his affidavit in opposition to the motion that was filed. Now, the issue is that the Electoral Commission is the only sole body who had access to that information. And so for Honorable Afenyo Makin to now go and sit on a radio station and then make certain assertions and statements that he has in his custody the nomination form of my client, and even went ahead to compare the nomination form of my client to that of the NDC parliamentary candidate's own, then raised a lot of issues. How did he get those forms? A form that is classified, that is confidential. How did he lay his hands on those forms? So those are our arguments, that the rights of privacy and confidentiality in this election processes has been breached. So that was the main reason why we went to court to seek for this injunction.
And we had I'm sure you might have heard our correspondent there saying that your client was, there were police officers who came there to arrest her. As at the time he was leaving the police station, she was still in custody because of allegations that she forged the signatories on her form. What can you tell us about that as the lawyer representing her?
Yes, that is true. In fact, what happened in court today was an eyesore, because you could see armed policemen in their vehicle. In fact, they could count up to about 15 to 20. These are armed policemen who were waiting for my client just immediately at the entrance of the court. And so after court, I approached them and then I asked, why are they after my client? Why are they seeking to arrest her? They only told me that order from above. And I was like, you cannot arrest anybody with this order from above. Who is giving this order from above? Then later on, they went to make some calls, and then he indicated that the divisional commander is the one who has instructed them to bring my client. And I was like, what offense has he committed? Still, they were unable to give me any offense. So we went back to court, and then I indicated to the judge that this is what was happening. In fact, I had informed them that they should go. I would personally bring her, since they are inviting her. We don't want this Rambo style kind of thing. This is a tiny candidate, a female, and for you to bring over 15 to 20 armed policemen to the court just to sweep her away, I mean, it's not the right thing to do.
I hear you say that the court, I want you to land on that.
Yes, so the court finally instructed the police that they should allow her to come to the police station by herself in the company of her lawyer, and then also indicated that the judge did not want to hear that my client has been driven all the way to Accra, because, some of these things can happen. They can just pick you from one police station to another. So the court instructed that she doesn't want to hear anything that the client has been swept back to Accra. But then later on, fast forward, we went to the police station, and for her to write her statement. Then I asked, who is the complainant in this matter? First, there is no complainant. because the CID was unable to present to me the statement of any complainant. What he presented to me was a petition filed by somebody else that we do not even know. So I looked at the petition, and then I told the CID officer, this petition is based on suspicion. So how can you arrest somebody on the basis of suspicion? Before you can arrest somebody, there has to be a reasonable and probable cause. But in that petition, there is nothing like that. And so later on, they indicated that they were charging her with forged documents, and then additionally possession of forged documents. And I was like, in fact, this whole twist, sounds something that I myself do not even understand.
You don't understand, but how do you interpret what's happening with just 17 days to the general election?
Well, from all that has happened, without any complainants, arresting somebody on the basis of just mere suspicion, well, I think, somebody is behind this.
Who is that somebody? The Alexander Penyomaki you're accusing of being a recipient of her private document or confidential document, as it were?
Well, for now, I do not have any concrete details as to whether he is the one behind it. But, the circumstantial evidences and everything points to one and only person, because this is the person that we are in court with. We just joined him to this seat, and we are in court with the Electoral Commission. And so, well, I do not want to point any hands that he is the one behind it, but then definitely there is somebody behind it.
Why would he be interested? Do you think he feels threatened that the seat could be taken by your client?
Well, I don't know. I do not know about that, whether his seat could be claimed by my client. But, this is an election, and we are not taking anything out. My client also stands a chance of winning this election. And, once anybody feels threatened, definitely the person will start taking different actions altogether. But what I do not understand is for a police officer to tell me that he has received an order from above to arrest somebody on the basis of suspicion. Now, as we speak, I left the police station, and at the time my client had finished taking her statement. Everything pointed to the fact that they informed me they were going to grant her bail. Now, immediately I left, I just received an intel that she has been handcuffed and moved from the Winneba Divisional Police Station right now to an unknown destination. And that actually baffles my mind, because I do not know why. In fact, we are in the process of petitioning the IGP on this case, and we will take the appropriate steps from tomorrow going. You
take appropriate steps, meaning you're going to sue the police administration or file separate suits because of what is happening?
We will advise ourselves on that, because, you cannot just arrest somebody on the basis of suspicion and then tell me that there's an order from above. The one notion is that because the police think that they can keep somebody for 48 hours, they always want to abuse this process. But that 48-hour rule was placed there for a purpose, and it was not just placed there for anybody at all, just to abuse it. And so we will explore any other opportunity, any other avenue, just to ensure that the right thing is done. Because people's rights in this country cannot just be trampled on just like that.
And finally, before you go, are you able to tell us whether you've been able to get your clients out of the police station?
Honestly, when I was leaving, the indication given me was that they needed the signature of the divisional commander before she could be granted the bail.
So it's likely she will sleep behind bars tonight?
Yes, from all indications, because later I was informed that the divisional commander was not around. And that he had moved to somewhere for a program or something else, and that they do not know when the police divisional commander is going to come. So you see, now that my client has been moved from the station to an unknown location, the truth is that she is going to be behind bars, and I do not even know where they are taking her to currently as we speak.
Quite serious. We'll have to end it here. Thank you very much. And you heard Jennifer Morris J. He is representing the independent candidate in the Efutu parliamentary election, who we understand has been arrested over claims that she forged signatures on her nomination forms. And you heard the lawyer there saying that he doesn't even know where the client has been taken to as we speak. This is your Election Command Center. And we stay in the central region because the NDC parliamentary candidate for the Owutu Senya West and East constituencies are protesting the EC's decision to change the centers for the collation of this year's election result. They are accusing the Electoral Commission of putting them in the dark on the decision. The transfer of the Kaswa District Electoral Officer Dominic Agbanu to the Ketu North District of the Volta region a few weeks ago ahead of the elections is also a matter of concern to the candidate as they believe that it is still ill-motivated. And we'll be speaking to the NDC parliamentary candidate for Owutu Senya East Phyllis Na Koyokuno very shortly, but we still do have our correspondent Beatrice Adu on the line with us. Kwesi, I understand you've picked some information on this very issue as well. Can you tell us more about it?
Okay, so in the Owutu Senya East constituency, that is Kaswa, the district electoral officer Dominic Agbanu was transferred just about last week. And they have a few days into the elections. And then, according to the NDC, they have also learned that the commission has decided to move the collation center from the Kaswa Divisional Police Command, which is regarded as a traditional collation center for the constituency, to the newly constructed Central East Regional Police Command. Now, the divisional command is situated at Walantu Junction, which is within the precincts of the Central Business District of Kaswa. And then the collation center is being moved to the newly constructed regional command, which is situated on the Obom Road, specifically as a junction. According to the NDC, they are suspecting that the Electoral Commission has something that they may want to do on the day of collation, which is why they are bent on, changing the location of the collation center to that area. And so they would do everything possible to challenge that decision. According to the NDC-PC, for the Kaswa constituency, Phyllis Nakoyo Okuno, whom I engaged earlier on, she is telling me that the center, the old center, that is the divisional command, is gazetted. So it would take some sort of legal process to have that place changed. Currently, as I speak with you, I am in the Owutu Senya West constituency, which is Owutu Breko. I'm standing right here at the Owutu Breko, the background. So this has been the traditional collation center for this constituency. And then just this morning, the Member of Parliament for this area, Gisela Tete, also made it known through a statement that they have also learned that the Central East Regional Commander is directing for the collation center to be moved to this particular location, that is the background, to the Owutu Senior High School. And the background is also situated in the heart of the Owutu Breko community, which is the district capital for the Owutu Senya district. And then the Winton Senior High School is also located in the outskirts of the community that is approaching Gomua Akoti. The NDC's argument is that the recommendation that the Central East Regional Commander, which is based on the fact that the Owutu Senior High School is a war area and so would provide or would help in providing adequate security, is not sustainable enough or not sufficient enough for the venue to be changed. And so they are also expecting that the commission tracks that very decision.
Kwesi Adu, thank you so much for bringing us those details from the central region. And he was just talking about the Ewutu Senya West constituency and the member of parliament. They're also complaining about the EC changing the collation center. We can listen to Gisela Tete also speaking earlier.
Yesterday, we were informed about the change in location from the Ewutu Deba ground to the Ewutu Winton Senior High School. For all these years that I've witnessed elections in this constituency, we always use the Ewutu Deba ground. It is open, it is transparent, everybody can see, the board is up, everybody sees everything. And suddenly, the security from the region seem to now come and choose a location for collation without stakeholders' involvement, without stakeholders' agreement. That surprises me, because that is not how things were done. A meeting was held before. They indicated that they've gone to check the various to review the various locations, which they did. And so all of a sudden, it surprises me to now find out that they want to change the location to move it to Ewutu Winton Senior High. In the first place, the road is under the highway is under construction, so the main access to the school has been blocked. And now the access to the school is now through a bush road at the back, which has thick bush on both sides. And it is an ideal setup for an ambush. And I'm sorry, I'm very disappointed, that the security personnel were told that this was a directive from the IGP, which I don't want to believe, because he being a security person, he would know. The last place anybody wants to be is in an ambush location. And I'm very disappointed in this, in this new choice. And I hope that they'll come and do the right assessment and see. We should go back to the traditional location, of the Ewutu Deba ground. My expectations are that for any reasonable discussion to take place, they must go and do a review of the location, and they should not be biased.
And you heard the Member of Parliament for the Ewutu Senya West constituency, Gisela Tete, speaking about the change of collation centre by the Electoral Commission. Let's listen now to Na Koyo Okono, who is also the parliamentary candidate for the Ewutu Senya East.
Revelation. Few weeks ago or few days ago, we heard of our EC director in the Ewutu Senya East constituency being transferred. And I believe that as stakeholders of this election, we have to be in the know of whatever is happening around the EC or even within the Ewutu Senya East constituency. But as a political party, we were not informed. The only thing we heard was a new person had been brought in to take over from the former. We want to ask certain questions. As stakeholders, we believe that we need to know what is happening around the constituency when it comes to the EC. We need to know what is happening around the constituency when it comes to the police services. So we are asking, why were we not informed? Are we not part of the stakeholders, or have the norm been changed? Also, recently, we heard of our collation center also being changed. And we know by law, the older place, which is the district office, has been gazetted. Is there any change from the constitution? I know now they are requesting for a gated community. We are not saying that a gated community is bad. We know that we need to protect our votes, and each of us is ready to do that. But the question once again is, why were we not consulted on this? We need our opinions to help us conduct these elections successfully. So we are pleading, the ECs, the authorities, the police should come out with something better to inform the NDC on their new changes. Thank you, and God bless you all.
And you just heard right there, Na Koyo Okono. She is the NDC parliamentary candidate for Ewutu Senya East. And she joins us live on the line for a very brief conversation. Good evening to you, ma'am, if you can hear us. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, hello, good evening, Frida. Lovely viewers and listeners as well.
So we just heard you talk about the fact that you did not even know about this change, as it were, from the Electoral Commission. I mean, some hours have passed. Now, have you heard anything from the EC as regards the rationale behind the change of the collation center?
Okay, so some days back, we heard that the election officer here in Sarfoa has been transferred. Sorry, I've lost my voice, so I'm a bit struggling too. So he's been transferred without any notice to the party. I believe that we are a major stakeholder in this election. I don't know if other parties were consulted, but then the NDC as a party was not consulted on this. Even with the new person that was brought in, the same way, we were not consulted until we went for a meeting, an IPAC meeting, before we knew that a new person had been brought in. Fast forward, all these years, after the elections, our collation center is the district police station here on the main road. Then some days back, they called for a meeting at the regional police headquarters, suggesting that the collation center be changed. So without any consultation, I would always speak for the NDC because I wouldn't know whether consultations have been done with the other parties or the other stakeholders. But as a political party, no consultation or whatsoever was done. So it's been back and forth with the collation center.
Yes, but are you able to tell us?
Aware that,
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm just wondering, forgive me, I'm just wondering the relationship between the transfer of this officer and this complaint you're making right now, which is about the change of collation centers without your notice.
Excuse me, I didn't hear that well.
The complaint we have is that you are unhappy about the fact that the Electoral Commission has changed the collation center without your knowledge. Am I right?
Exactly.
Yes, so I'm just asking the relationship between the transfer of this electoral officer and what you're complaining about now.
Okay, so it's just a preamble. This is to say that it looks like decisions are taken without involving NDC as a stakeholder of this election. Because obviously, if the NDC is a major stakeholder of this election, when there is a transfer, we will be in the known. But officially, nothing has been communicated to us as we speak. The same way with the collation center, we were called for a meeting and was told that the collation center would be changed. We all know that the old place, which has been used over the years, is the one gazetted. Now, they are calling for a new place. We don't have any problem with it. But our issue is, as a major stakeholder in this election, we need to sit down and agree on what is right for all of us, or what is best for all of us. But if it looks like we've been kept in the dark, and we go out for a meeting and it is thrown at us, that this is the situation, this is what we want to do, then they are not being fair to us as a political party.
Have you contacted the Electoral Commission, just so we are able to wrap up our conversation? Have you contacted the EC? Do you have any explanation? I believe the Electoral Commission should have officials in your place.
Yes, as we speak, we have done that, but we haven't had any response from them. We have sent letters to the police as well, and we still don't have any response from them.
And you haven't had any oral telephone conversation with any of the EC officials in your constituency to give you explanations aside from the letter you sent?
Not at all. And in this kind of work, we don't need oral, we need written. Everything should be written, should be formal. We don't need to be called on phone to be told what the modalities of the games are. If there are any issues, it should be in writing so that we can also respond to. So nothing.
But you need answers.
We need answers, exactly.
So if you're not receiving answers from the letter you sent, and you can easily reach the people on the phone just to get an explanation, you don't think that could work for both?
No, for evidence sake, for tomorrow's sake, we need it on a letter for evidence sake, for tomorrow's sake. Because by word of mouth, I can sit somewhere and say, oh no, I haven't received any call, or no one has informed me. But if it is written, it is formal.
And you just heard Nakoyo Kuno, he's NDC parliamentary candidate for Awutu Senya East in the Central Region. We'll bring you some more of political issues here, but ahead of that, the government's indebtedness to power sector producers is threatening the survival of some independent producers. Now, the Chamber of Independent Producers says that 3 critical power plants face imminent shutdown due to accumulating unpaid debt. The Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Elikplim Apetogbo, says the government has defaulted on a $259 million debt payment owed by the Electricity Company of Ghana. He warns that critical power plants will shut down if the government does not act swiftly by Friday, November 22. Now, this is coming at a time the government or follows the government's repeated claim of having reached a deal with IPPs on the restructuring of debt owed them. And we'll be listening to the president on this very shortly.
I must recognize the contributions of independent power producers who have invested significantly to support our energy needs. These partners have been instrumental in enhancing our power capacity. My administration is committed to addressing the financial obligations impacting our ability to meet obligations to these valued partners. Together, we will build a sustainable, reliable energy future. We celebrate the dawn of a new era in Ghana's energy journey, one filled with strength, resilience, hope, and promise. Let us ensure that the Bridge Power Station remains a beacon of Ghana's vision, a shining testament to what we can accomplish when united for the common good.
And you had the President Sarfoa Boahene. Let's bring in Derek Hatcher. He's research analyst at the Institute for Energy Security. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Beatrice, good evening.
The IPP says some of the members are on the verge, as it were, of shutting down. Meanwhile, the government says it has reached a deal to restructure the debts. I'm just wondering what your understanding of the situation at this time is.
All right, thanks for the opportunity. Basically, what the IPPs or their leader is speaking or talking about is the situation on the ground. It's the reality that we are all dealing with now. As it stands now, we are not able to meet our peak demand when it comes to generation, and all because the government of the day is owing these IPPs. I have told you the energy sector debt is close to $2 billion. And so what they are demanding is almost $300 million. As it stands right now, it's around $259. And so if you make some part commitment, then they will have the credibility and then the happiness that, okay, they can now generate more power for the government. But we've been hearing the rhetoric. Every day the government of the day will say that they've planned, they've restructured the debts and co. And then we're unlucky, Sonny Nasogli had to shut down. That is a major IPP. And so if the others decide to follow the same shutdown policy, then Ghana basically in this festive season will not have power. And as it stands now, we are running deficits close to 500 to 700 megawatts on a daily basis.
This is quite serious, but I'm just wondering why there seems to be assurances and yet we are getting different communication from the IPPs. What do you think could be the problem here?
And so it's because of the negative political connotation associated with Dumso. Already you should know that we are in an election season, and then the government of the day will not want to be associated with the term Dumso. because of the negative political connotations to it. Definitely, Dumso is not a favorable thing. Over the past years, we've campaigned, or government political parties have campaigned with the negative effects of Dumso and how that affect businesses and livelihoods. And so in this current season, the government of the day will not want to be associated with the term Dumso because of its negative implications. But the reality is that the IPPs need money. They don't need political communication. They don't need the rhetoric. They need the money to be able to generate power. And so if the money is not coming, they will tell you the reality is that we don't have the money. And if we don't have the money, we will not be able to generate more power. And for that reason, some power plants will need to be shut down. And when they shut down, it means that the deficit that we are currently running or experiencing close to 700 megawatts will widen close to 1,000 megawatts or 1,200. And if that happens, then it means that half of the country is just totally off.
They need a solution or payment and not political communication, you say. We've heard the IPP say that if by Friday, 22nd of this month, nothing has been paid, as it were, we should expect that they will shut down their plant. What sort of intervention do you think is required at this time?
The intervention that is currently required is that the government of the day should not do political communication. It should be backed by action. The action is give them money, pay the money to them, let the money hit their account. They are human beings. And so you can meet them at the round table, make some part payment, give them some assurances to buy back some credibility, because Sonny Nasoglu and Co, they couldn't have that credibility with government anymore because the assurance of government were not fulfilled. And so going forward, they've given you up to Friday. Don't wait till Friday evening by close of day before having a negotiation. Do it currently. Look for money, a short-term measure, pay some part of their money for them, and give them an assurance that going forward, you will be able to keep up to these payment plans. That will help them not to shut down. But if that doesn't happen, by Friday, as they are saying, by Monday thereabouts, they would have shut down their thermal plants and co. Don't wait for Ghanaians to now experience the dire consequence of Dumso before the government of the day decide to make any intervention. The immediate response is that look for money, let the money back the actions, and then Ghanaians will have power on daily basis.
Mr. Hatcher, thank you very much for joining us on Hot Edition on Shri FM 92.7.
Thank you.
And you had there Derek Hatcher. He is research analyst at the Institute for Energy Security. From energy, we go to education and the national, I beg your pardon. And you're still here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Stay with us.
Election Command Center. Facts, analysis, results. Imagine a place where voices matter, where every corner, every street, every community is a platform.
A big bus moving through Accra, carrying conversations, questions, and the pulse of the nation. This is not just another show, it's your voice on the move.
Join us as 3FM Sunrise hits the road, turning ordinary streets into platforms for extraordinary dialogue. Speak freely, listen deeply, and help shape the conversation that drives Ghana forward.
Look out for the bus and tune in exclusively on 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio.
This is 3FM 92.7, your election command center.
Let's bring you some more here. And the National Labour Commission has refused to grant striking members of the Teachers and Educational Workers Union or the Trades Union Congress a hearing until members call off their action. This follows the NLC's declaration of that 3-day-old strike as illegal. Now let's speak to King James Zotiba. He is the General Secretary of TEU. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening, and good evening to your listeners.
The NLC says your strike is illegal. Reason the commission has refused to sit down with you. Are you willing to do the needful, as in call off the strike before there can be a conversation?
Sure. We always do the needful, and we will do the needful because we need to make sure that our conditions of service are negotiated, concluded, and implemented.
What does that mean? That until that is done, you're not calling off the strike?
Oh, no. We had the National Labour Commission directed that we should immediately suspend the industrial action and then pave the way for a meeting on 27th with our various managements. Behind the scenes, our various managements have given us some assurances to begin in good faith the negotiations starting from Monday. And so we have also issued, and we are sending out our circular to our rank and file members, our structures, to ensure that immediately the strike is suspended, and then we expect our members to go to work on Monday. Hopefully, every member on strike should be at post.
Why not tomorrow or Friday? Why Monday?
Sure. Yes, when we say people should take steps, from even this evening, immediately we send some people who were not at post have started working. Some of our matrons and the cooks who were not working have gone to begin to work. But there are other people who had, as a result of the strike, if you say immediately, maybe today and tomorrow might not be able to be at post. And therefore, we don't want anybody to kind of use any form of victimization against them because they are not at duty. But for Monday, at least we're sure everybody should be at work.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zotiba, for speaking to us.
Thank you.
And you heard that King James Zotiba. He's the General Secretary of TEU. TUC. Now, the Motor Traffic and Transport Department, MTTD, is pushing for the passage of the Road Traffic Amendment Regulation LI 2496/2024, which is currently before Parliament. The new LI, which matures in 15 days' time, is expected to curtail speeding beyond the limit and check driver behavior on the road. A key feature of the new LI is the automated road safety systems, including the installation of closed-circuit television cameras and ride-hailing services. Current statistics show that over 18,000 road crashes have been recorded between January and October 2024, whilst 2,000 people have been killed. Out of this, 12,000 people sustained varying degrees of injuries. Well, the Public Affairs Director of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of the Ghana Police Service, Chief Superintendent Alexander Kwekobing, says without a new LI, it is difficult to hold road offenders accountable after committing offences.
We have come far as a country in terms of road safety, which, among other documents that is Parliament are waiting to and passing. One is Road Traffic Amendment Regulation 2024, LI 2496, which seeks to rationalize the road safety enforcement service with the introduction of automated road traffic fences and fines, which is driving this traffic change. More other appeals that the conference leaders appeal to our honorable members. In this area, police, among other stakeholders, can roll out this strategy in order to show that many communities and ensure compliance when we pray.
And you had Alexander Obing, he's the Public Affairs Director of the MTTD, and we do apologize for the poor quality of that sound. Well, Executive Director of DriveX, organizers of the conference, Dennis Opoku Delali, said that with the festive season approaching, there's the need to intensify awareness creation on road crashes.
So as part of that, we decided that we need to amplify the conversation of road safety. So every year we try to bring all the stakeholders in the transport sector, the drivers being the major stakeholders, together under one roof, the motorists, the cyclists, everybody, to see how best we can amplify the conversation of road safety. And this year's theme is cultivating the culture of responsibility. Everyone's role in road safety. We believe that everyone has to play a role. Your silence will cost a lot of lives, but your voices can help save most of them. That is why we are all here to tell people that even when you sit in church, drive your own car, wherever you find yourself, learn to speak up to indiscipline on the roads. It's getting to Christmas, a lot of people will be rushing to get to places on time. We just want people to take their time to get to places safer, respect all road signs, be very disciplined in terms of driving, to help us save a lot of lives.
And you're still here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. When we come back, we'll bring you the latest in business. Don't go away.
Hey, ready to make your drive home epic? It's the 3FM Drive with the one and only Giovanni Killer right here on 3FM 92.7. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're transforming your commute into a top-tier experience. Need a pick-me-up? Our music belt is pure energy, pure vibes. Stay ahead with the Drive Sports, bringing you the latest scores and highlights. Curious about the stars? We've got all the hottest trends, celebrity profile interviews, plus DJ faculty has got you.
Ready? Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays on 3FM Drive. You know where it's at.
This is where the action is at, live on the 3FM Drive on 3FM 92.7. Welcome to the 3FM Drive. That's right!
When it comes to the world of sports, what does complete mean to you?
When my team scores at the end of a 30-plus passing sequence, like Pep Guardiola style.
When someone beats the buzzer from a shot from the logo, like Steph Curry.
Dominating opponents and punching my way to a knockout, like Africa's greatest boxer, Azuma Nelson.
Running so fast that I can afford to celebrate midway through a 100-meter race and smash the world record like Usain Bolt.
Hold up. What makes all of these sports complete is the screen. This is where you get access to extensive analysis, insights, and highlights.
So join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. live on 3FM 92.7 as we serve you the most satisfying buffet in the world of sports. The 3 Sports team will come together to review, preview, and analyze the latest in sports on Sports Ultras.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition. Coming up tonight, ECOWAS single currency, ECO, nears reality, according to Governor of the Central Bank of West African State, Jean-Claude Cassibrou. I am Christian Yali. Let's settle for the details now. And Governor of the Central Bank of the West African State, Jean-Claude Cassibro, has announced that the development of the single currency for ECOWAS, known as ECO, is well underway. During the commissioning of the Bank of Ghana's new head office, the Bank Square in Accra today, he emphasized that the ECO will simplify trade among West African states and bolster the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. This is what he has been saying.
Aims to create an environment conducive to achieving our development goal within the framework of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. I would like to recall the commitment made on October 11 in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, by their Excellencies Alassane Ouattara, President of the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire, and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic of Ghana, to working closely with other West African countries in order to strengthen regional economic and financial integration and achieve the objective of creating a monetary union. Our two central banks are subsequently actively working towards the realization of the single currency, as decided by our head of state.
Governor of the Central Bank of West African State, Jean-Claude Cassibro there. Meanwhile, the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, says the Bank Square signifies financial and economic stability of the country. Details in the following report.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, in his inaugural speech, defended the decision to complete the Bank Square, citing the need for enhanced safety and operational standards for the central bank.
As we step into this new chapter, I am filled with optimism that this building will remain a significant investment in our collective future as a nation. This will also push the Bank of Ghana towards new frontiers in central banking.
Finance Minister Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam said the Bank Square signifies financial and economic stability of the country.
This monumental edifice represents more than just a physical structure. It symbolizes our nation's commitment to economic stability, financial integrity, and progress.
President Akufo-Addo celebrated the central bank's role in shaping the nation's economic landscape.
Established as the central institution for economic management of the dawn of Ghana's sovereignty, the Bank of Ghana has been an enduring symbol of our nation's economic independence and resilience.
That was a report by my colleague Bismarck Awusa. And President of the Institute of Internal Auditors, Ghana, Joseph Dakura Azumasige, is urging organizational leaders to embrace challenge and a new change as new opportunities to thrive in their systems. According to him, today's fast-paced world leaves little room for managers to forecast, and innovations are necessary to cope. He emphasizes that leaders cannot wait for emerging technologies to stabilize before adapting.
The world we live in now, even if you were to project what would happen in the next 3 months, a lot of us are so unsure. So what it means is that your planning scope or the time scope within which you plan, where you have certainty, is so short. Yet as leaders, you cannot sit back. And the other question you ask is, if there is change that is happening around and is throwing uncertainties your way, are you just going to sit there like a lame duck? No. You can still find opportunities within these settings and be successful as an organization. As you would hear, laws come to stop some actions from happening, and even some people still act against the law, but do it in such a way that they are still successful. We are not encouraging anybody to be illegal, but we are saying that the changes that are coming are becoming the norm of operation, the normal way of operation. But are you going to say that as an organization, you are waiting for things to be very stable before you can be successful? No, you have to learn to work successfully amidst the changes that are thrown our way.
And that was the president of the Institute of Internal Auditors Ghana, Joseph Dakura Azuma Sige, urging organizational leaders to embrace change as new opportunities to thrive. Ending the business news on Hot Edition with me, Christian Yale. For more business stories, please check out on our website 3news.com/business. The news continues from here.
The most comprehensive election coverage.
Top-notch presenters and well-versed analysts.
Dedicated reporters.
The whole world will be watching us on TV, online, and radio.
Election Command Center. Facts, analysis, results.
It's 18 days to election 2024. Let not your words hurt people.
When it comes to the world of sports, what does complete mean to you?
When my team scores at the end of a 30-plus passing sequence, like Pep Guardiola style.
When someone beats the buzzer from the shot, from the logo, like Steph Curry.
Dominating opponent and punching my way to a knockout, like Africa's greatest boxer, Azuma Nelson.
Running so fast that I can afford to celebrate midway through a 100-meter race and smash the world record like Usain Bolt.
Hold up. What makes all of these sports complete is the screen. This is where you get access to extensive analysis, insights, and highlights.
So join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. live on 3FM 92.7 as we serve you the most satisfying buffet in the world of sports. The 3 Sports team will come together to review, preview, and analyze the latest in sports on Sports Ultras.
Hey, ready to make your drive home epic? It's the 3FM Drive with the one and only Giovanni Killer right here on 3FM 92.7. Weekdays, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. We're transforming your commute into a top-tier experience. Need a pick-me-up? Our music belt is pure energy, pure vibes. Stay ahead with the Drive Sports, bringing you the latest scores and highlights. Curious about the stars? We've got all the hottest trends, celebrity profile interviews, plus DJ faculty has got you.
Ready? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays on 3FM Drive. You know where it's at.
This is where the action is at, live on the 3FM Drive on 3FM 92.7. Welcome to the 3FM Drive. That's right!
I wake up early every weekday because of you, to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helena Piampofo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Yes, so here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Thank you, Christian Yale, for bringing us the latest in business. Oreko Ampofo is here with the latest in sports. And Oreko, we're learning that there's some breaking news about Fatau. What's happening with him?
So quite unfortunate news for the player. It probably goes from bad to worse because after not qualifying for the AFCON with Ghana, now he's just been told that his season is over. And he successfully had surgery on his anterior cruciate ligament, which is in the knee, earlier today in London. I think in terms of football, this is the worst possible injury any footballer could sustain, and it's rather unfortunate that it had to be Fatau Isaaku. If you remember, it was against Angola in the AFCON qualifiers in that first half where he felt something in his knee. It was non-contact, and eventually he was subbed up at halftime. And Test did review that this is what he sustained. So he's picked up an ACL injury. He's expected to be out for 6 to 9 months, and so it's going to be.
So that's not a complete knockout.
For
his career.
Oh no, he would be back. He would sometime in 2025. Usually it takes about 6 to 9 months. So hopefully he'll be back. But for the rest of the season, I don't think he'll probably play for Leicester again.
Oh no, actually when I heard the breaking news, I thought it was something. So I was so excited to hear about that. But really the question people could be asking is whether or not the Ghana medical team perhaps could have done better.
From where I sit, I don't have all the details on what happened on the pitch for the Angola game. But I think, judging by him coming back after the injury, I think perhaps they might have got it wrong. Then again, I'm only stating from what I saw. First thing is that it was a non-contact injury. And so usually with that type of injury, you want to take it a bit seriously. He felt there was no contact. He just felt something in his knee and he fell to the ground. Immediately called for help from the medical team. So
that's like just him hitting the hard surface?
Maybe it could be how he landed or something before that. But he felt real sharp pain, and you could see he was in agonizing pain. And I think that was the first indication that was something pretty serious. And so usually what happens with knee injuries and potential ACL injuries is that, especially in this season where we've had numerous ACL injuries, medical teams have a way that they can immediately test. And so there's the Lachman test. There are a number of clinical tests that you can do on the pitch to see how well the knee is moving.
That wasn't done?
I don't know whether it was done, but if it was done and you could see that the knee wasn't moving freely, then there's no way that Fatau Isaaku should fall down midway through the first half, come back, play for about 10 minutes, fall down again, go off and come back with the bandage and play till halftime.
That's serious.
It is serious because we don't know how bad the damage was to the ligament. It could have been partial, but deciding to let him play a whole 20 minutes more could have potentially made it worse. And I think maybe they could have done better in that regard and taken him off immediately. It could have perhaps reduced the amount of time that he has to be out. But it is what it is. There's no time to point fingers at anyone now. He's had a successful surgery. We'll be hoping that he comes back stronger. He's a very determined young man who I'm sure he wanted to fight. He wanted to still play for Ghana. But as a medical team, you are supposed to, in that moment, be sane,
it's
calm,
okay. Just
and
move away.
I think you make a decision that's best for everyone. But yeah, we're wishing him a speedy recovery. Hopefully he comes back to his best
and
for
indeed,
Leicester and Ghana.
That was what I was going to ask you. You talked about between 6 to 9 months for him to be away. Is there a possibility that he'll come back better than, he's seen or other people who have gone through such injuries?
So the ACL surgery is very complicated. The most complicated part is the fact that you're going to be away from football for a very, very, very long time. And so everything is about your rehabilitation. And for Fatau Isaaku, he's coming back into one of the most competitive, aggressive, and fast-paced leagues in the world in the English Premier League. So a lot would depend on how he's eased into action, because we've seen players come back from ACL injuries and get another ACL injury, or perhaps fall back in their recovery stage due to not perhaps taking rehabilitation too seriously or rushing them back. And so I think the perfect example to look at is someone like Virgil van Dijk, where it has to be slow. He has to be eased into the game. And then hopefully once care is taken with how he recuperates with his rehabilitation and recovery, then he can potentially get back to playing. But, it says 6 to 9 months. But once you come back, you need to build your match fitness.
Indeed.
You need to start learning how to run again on grass. And so it will take time before he actually starts playing the full 90 minutes again. So maybe potentially he could be targeting a full return to play 90 minutes, maybe the end of 2025, which could be good for him, especially if Ghana qualify for the World Cup. That was what I think should be his personal target, to be fully fit for the 2026 World Cup. There's no need to rush back and then go back again for another 6-7 months. It's important that care is taken.
Recover
and he really
fully.
Understands his body, recovers fully, and then he comes back stronger than before.
Finally, before you go, what would this mean for the team? His absence for, you're talking about 9 months maximum, but if you're bringing in the training to ensure that you're back to your normal rhythm, then that's like a year. I'm thinking, what would that mean for the team?
Yeah, I think he will be a very big miss. And the thing about Fatawu Issahaku was that we've seen his journey with this Leicester team was very instrumental with how they played in the championship and gained promotion, won the league. They were head and shoulders above every team. And Fatawu was a very big part of that with his chance creation and how he chipped in with very important goals. It's also good that at least it's come when he's got a permanent contract. And so he's going to be at Leicester for a long time after signing a long-term deal. So,
at least that takes the stress off.
Yeah, it does take the stress off him. But I think he'll be a very big miss for Leicester, how they play. They defend very well, want to get up the pitch quickly, and there's none better than Fatawu Issahaku. He's had the most dribbles in the Premier League this season. He's very comfortable on the ball. He's very versatile, has played us on the left wing, on the right wing, and can even play as a left wing back. Very energetic, has a very sweet left foot that he can also unleash shots from everywhere. So he's the type of player that you want to have in your team. And most importantly, I think everyone wants to be around him. He's the life of a party. Having him around the team is just positive energy. And I think those are some of the attributes that Leicester would miss from him for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, Oreko Ampofo, for bringing us the latest in sports. And you're still here on Hot Edition on Shri FM 92.7. Welcome to Campaign Trail. And on Campaign Trail tonight, the New Patriotic Party is accusing the opposition NDC of plotting to rig the December polls. The NDC, the national organizer of the party, says that attempts by the NDC to disrupt the electoral process will be resisted. This comes barely 24 hours after the opposition party made similar claims against the governing party. The MPP's national organizer, Henry Nana Boakye, has described the NDC's allegations as quote-unquote laughable and baseless and a desperate attempt to stoke fear and tension ahead of the polls.
Information available to the MPP reveals that several months ago, the NDC has been training thugs in pockets of communities, including Obuasi East constituency, under the guise of private security training. These individuals are being prepared to disrupt electoral process, particularly in Ashanti region, which is the MPP stronghold. We are aware that recently, November 11th, 2024, the NDC Committee on Mining, led by one Tony Obeng, former Chief Executive Officer, Minerals Commission, held a secret meeting with some NDC small-scale miners at the conference hall of Mauli Hotel in Bidiem in the Obuasi West municipality. One of the aims of the meeting was to recruit some members of the pro-NDC small-scale miners to form part of the NDC's Eagle Force Vigilante Group, which will be deployed to some MPP polling stations with the aim of causing mayhem on elections day. The MPP is also aware of mobile money transactions directly linking leading NDC members to payments made to these train tax. These individuals are being deployed to strategic locations in the Upper East and Upper West regions to foment trouble as well. We have also discovered plans by the NDC to use ambulances to transport weapons.
And you had the national organizer of the governing New Patriotic Party. We stay on politics, and the Lejokuku constituency is buzzing with political activity as the 2024 general elections approach. Our reporter Emmanuel Samani indicates that supporters of both the NDC and the MPP are making their voices heard regarding the performance of their respective parliamentary candidate. Here's our focus for constituency focus in today's episode.
Lejokuku is diverse. Call it the microcosm of Ghana's broader socio-economic landscape. Politically, it is known for its active civic engagement and political shifts, what you'd call a swing constituency. As the general elections approach, it is not lost on supporters that it's time for another battle for the thumb of the people.
Coming back of Honorable Bernard Okoboy is possible because NDC has never, but they haven't done anything for the constituency. They only use excuse. My government is not in power, my government is not in power. But we know that projects are lobby at Parliament.
Historically, Lejokuku has not kept one MP for more than a term. Dr. Bernard Okoboy is returning to contest for the second time after constituents voted him out in 2020. His supporters take the opportunity to throw jabs at opponents in the hopes that it wins over voters to the other side.
Drainages, they have not even seen drainage before when NDC has come to power. NDC was in power when Senna was in power. They were having an MP. Nino Tedua, who is now late, was an MP. His president was in power, but they didn't do anything for the constituency.
In 2020, Okoboy lost the general election to the NDC's Benjamin Aikunate by about 1,800 votes. Today, Aiku is the one to defend his title with hopes to break the jinx.
I want to show you what the city MP is doing. City MP is a businessman, but he's constructing polyclinic for Teshi people. Okoboy is in the health sector. Formerly, he was a deputy minister for health. What has he done? We have a cheap compound which was built for the people of Teshi. They used the cheap compound for electoral commission people to be a storehouse.
He highlighted several key achievements of Benjamin Aiku, particularly in the areas of health and education.
We have a small clinic at Teshi Township to take care of the whole township. And they have a lot of challenges. They don't have IMS machines, they don't have X-ray machines, and so kind of things. You cannot have provided all for them. At Lekma there, I learned they make this thing that there's a free maternal care or whatever they said. But people who went to give birth, they end up to be prisoners at Lekma. They were in prison. They were kept there because they don't have money to pay for the cost of...
And you have the constituency focus, and is our new segment that comes your way every Wednesday and Friday on the Midday News and Hot Edition as we count down to the December elections. We throw the spotlight on the various constituencies, bringing you all the numbers, dynamics, statistics, as well as voter sentiment. Your constituency might be next. Now, some news coming in, and the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, has seized a 40-foot container at Tema Port, originally shipped from the United States. The container was falsely declared to contain vehicles and personal items, but contained 53 pistols, 74 magazines, and 65 live rounds of ammunition concealed in suitcases. Intercepted on November 4, 2024, the seizure followed investigations by the GRA's Intelligence and Preventive Unit. The Customs Division has reaffirmed its commitment to protecting Ghana's borders from illegal arms and contraband, and we're joined by Richard Kumado. He's a security analyst. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
The line is breaking, unfortunately, but this must be worrying news for you to hear as a security consultant. We're just 17 days to the country's general polls.
If you remember, not quite long ago, some similar arrests were made in the U.S. of some arms that were destined to Ghana. And almost every year, some of these occurrences happen. So I wasn't surprised at all. What then was a little bit of surprise to me is that the arrest took place on the 4th of November, and it took them a little bit of time to broadcast the news. Having said that, the Small-Scale Arms Commission has no money in regulating small arms or some other arms within the system. So we have to commend the Customs Division, whilst we encourage them to do more, so that violence that involves guns and gun-related violence has taken a center stage in this country, and you cannot have many more arms in the hands of civilians during the election.
I mean, you know that we have porous borders, so we might not even know how many of these weapons have already come in ahead of the polls. What would you expect, or what do you expect security agencies to do to clear them from the system?
Many of these guns come through the points of entry, and Tema Harbor is dominantly noted for some of these shipments and arms comes in the disguise of some other commodities. I think the watchers are to rise up to the occasion. All those responsible for patrolling our borders will also have to be surveillance like mandate, and let's ensure that arms into our country have been stopped, and the ones within will need to find a credible way of retrieving it from civilians. That those also with the responsibility of dealing with arms will need to improve on their due diligence processes again. That we are in a stage where there'll be too many civilians with sophisticated arms that has the ability of distracting us and creating problems for us as a nation.
We'll have to end it here because of the quality of the line, but thank you very much for speaking to us, Richard Kumado. He is a security analyst. Thank you for speaking to us. And we also do have Commissioner of Customs, Brigadier General Zibrim Ayorogo. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for joining us. We'll bring you more on that. And the Central Regional Command of the Ghana Police Service says it will not condone the use of macho men at polling stations by politicians during the upcoming polls. DCOP Kofi Adu is the regional commander.
I called for us to share a few information about what is expected of the media as we embark on this upcoming election. The role of security agencies in ensuring the safety of persons and properties of citizens, as well as the maintenance of law and order during the electoral process, is critical in ensuring peaceful election. The command is saying that we are going to have a liaison officers which will be appointed from the police intelligence unit that will liaise with the media, so that in case you have any concerns, any security issues, the media will channel it through the appointed liaison officer, which is the PID personnel, so that he or she will share the information with the regional command. We don't want a situation where the media will take the law into its own hands, try to address some of the security issues by itself.
And you have the DCOP Kofi Adu. He is the Central Regional Police commander. And here in Accra, the police administration is also briefing the media ahead of the December 7 poll. Stanley Nibleo is there. He joins us live on the line. Stanley, what can you report?
So a couple of hours ago, the IGP and in the top hierarchy of the Ghana Police Service have been engaging news editors and management of news organization or media outlets. As I speak, the meeting is ongoing. Initially, they allowed cameras in, and then they briefed the media about the security arrangements the police is putting together or has put in place so far as the December 7 general elections are concerned. And so the police have been speaking, and the Inspector General of Police himself, who is also the chairman of the Election Management Task Force, briefed the media. And when he was talking, he made mention that this time around, they have put in place a very comprehensive blueprint, which is contained in a over 5,000 paged booklet, which details clearly plans for security arrangements on the election day. What they also told the media is that they are currently negotiating with the telecommunication operators, the MTN, Airtel Tigo, and the other telecommunication operators to generate a toll-free number that will be shared with the public so that any information out there, any information that will be going on in their various jurisdictions, they would be able to call that number to give that information to the police for prompt response. And then they also said one critical issue that also came up, which the IGP emphasized, has to do with misinformation and disinformation of like on that very day, the election day, which is the December 7th. According to the IGP, the police cannot do everything alone. So the media should collaborate, open their doors for collaboration so that they can help the police to combat disinformation and misinformation on the election day. And then the final thing I should also add is that the IGP said they have set up an election task force, which will comprise of about 100 reporters at the police headquarters. And what they will do is that these reporters will be stationed at the police headquarters, and the police will be briefing them promptly information that are happening at the various polling stations or polling centers across the country. So once the information gets to the police, they have personnel all over scattered around the country. And so whatever information or whatever incident that will be happening at the various polling centers across the country, that information will be communicated to the headquarters, and promptly they will share that information with the reporters that have been stationed at the police headquarters. And this will go a long way to help buttress or combat disinformation and misinformation on that very day.
Thank you very much, Stanley Nibleo, for bringing us the latest from that press conference organized by the police administration in Accra. And that's it for Hot Edition on True FM 92.7. My name is Beatrice Adu. Thank you very much for joining us today. Log on to 3news.com for more news. Have a good evening and do enjoy the rest of our programs.